Now they're continuing, so they let those guys live, and now they're continuing the patrol. And back to the book, I sensed a slight pull on my right foot, and pivoting to my left, I took a broad step. The roaring in my ear was tremendous. As if in a dream, I began floating in the direction of my last step. It was still a warm, beautiful, clear day, yet somehow I didn't seem to be there anymore. I was going off into a deep sleep, although my eyes were wide open, and I could see the soldiers in front of me exactly as they had been a moment ago. I continued to float. How graceful I felt. Sensing everything in slow motion, I saw the ground rising to meet my chest. What a perfect landing it was, the ground sliding up underneath me. Then I rose again, rebounding from the impact in a billow of soft, fine dust particles. Again, I eased down into the dirt, sending a second, thicker cloud of brown debris rising around my face and outstretched hands. Abruptly, the pace of my thoughts quickened as the surrealistic effects left. My God, we've been hit. Then the pace increased to normal. Oh no, it's me. I felt sick to my stomach. I thought I would vomit. And I made my first deliberate movement since the explosion had gone off in my ear. From my prone position, I jerked my head to the left and gaped at my legs. Oh, be there. Please be there. They were there, bleeding and torn, but they were there. I was so happy I wanted to shout with joy. I was euphoric. So he's walking and hits a booby trap. That description is eerily similar to Jody Middick's description of getting blown up. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, this McDonough ended up in a little bit better situation in the fact that he kept his legs, but Jody, the way Jody describes that in his book is very similar, just boom, and horrible situation. Back to the book. A wounded leader is still a leader. Unless so incapacitated, he can't make decisions. I wasn't that bad off, and I found it somewhat consoling to assert myself as the man in charge. At the very least, it staved off the shock that would come later. So they get him out of there, and he's on a stretcher anyways. Lying naked on a stretcher, suspended between two chairs, I began to suffer the first sensations of shock. I began to shake so severely, and I thought once again I was going to vomit. I was also afraid of defecating where I lay. I was so overcome with self-pity that for a second I caught myself starting to shed a tear. The morphine was having its effect, and I was not in full control of my emotions. More than anything, I was scared. I was no longer afraid I would die. I was afraid because I could have died. My heart was racing, my body trembling. The ringing in my ear confused my drug thinking even more, and I couldn't focus my thoughts. I only knew I had completely failed in my first attempt to lead a combat action. The West Pointer, the paratrooper, the ranger. He had lasted less than 48 hours, blown up by his own blundering footwork and ill-considered decisions. How inglorious it all seemed, lying there in my nakedness. So he was on the ground for 48 hours, and this happens. Go in, take over the platoon, calling the other guy a coward, basically. Goes out on this was his third patrol. He had done 2 other patrols. Nothing happened on those other patrols. And then, boom, gets blown up.